From the alley-oops at Keyshaw to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way. From off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. And who in the heck are the 49ers going to take at 172, Alex?
Yeah, no, I don't know who the pick is going to be at 172, but there are some good options there for the 49ers. There are some guys that can fill some holes, fill some needs, depth. I mean, obviously, if the Niners are picking this late, that's what they're doing. They like the roster they have intact. They're sitting pat and sitting firm because they're just looking to add depth for the future. And that's what they would be doing with some of these picks. And one of the first guys they could be doing that with is a guy like Shai Smith, a wide receiver that you actually turned me on to, Ant.
Yep.
And the more film I watch this guy, the more I like him a lot. The more I think he fits in the system really well. Could be a great little replacement for a guy like Kendrick Bourne, or even, a guy like Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't take our word for it. Take Deebo Samuel's word for it. He was a teammate of Shai Smith at South Carolina, and he also said Shai Smith would fit the 49ers offense perfectly. He knows his skill set and what he can do. He is smaller than Kendrick Bourne because he's only about 5'10", 190 pounds, but he plays a lot bigger than that, and he has sneaky athletic ability. He is very athletic for his size, and he also makes a lot of tough catches, a lot of contested catches. He has tremendous way of getting up and getting the ball away from a defender, which I love. He's a guy that you can count on catching the ball continuously. He doesn't lose speed when he catches the ball on the run.
No.
He runs straight through it, which we know is something Kyle Shanahan values. Look at Brandon Ayuk, look at Deebo Samuel. So this is a guy that definitely they could target right here. And this is definitely a spot that makes sense for a wide receiver. Shai Smith has been one of my favorite wide receivers in this entire draft. He was my number 4, in fact, because I don't value what everyone else values. I value certain things that fit the 49ers system. That's what I'm looking at it from the prism of that. If I was just ranking on the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, of course he wouldn't be in the top 5, but I'm trying to rank these guys on who would be the best in the 49ers system, and to me he made the most sense, or at least the 4th most sense. But he is a solid player, and I think anyone would be very happy to get him because he's gritty and he's going to make plays.
100%, and that's the thing that I liked the most about him was the ball skills. Think Deebo Samuel's physicality, but when it's going after the ball.
Yeah.
The way he goes and attacks the ball in the air and comes down with it is it's fun to watch. I loved watching it on film. He's not the physical type of runner that Deebo Samuel is, but he's physical in the sense of going after the football and going and getting it in space. And like you said, Key, doesn't slow down, which means you can get him on those little swing route actions, put him the ball in space, little slants in space, and he's going to be able to split and slip defenders and get extra yards and fight for extra yards, which for a guy who's supposed to be like if you want him to play a possession receiver role in the 49ers offense, and he doesn't have to slow down to catch the football, that means every time he's touching the ball, you're getting value, that possession and that play on the field. Man, you really want that for the 49ers. And you want a guy with sure hands and goes after the football. He's not going to sit there in space and wait for it. He's going to make sure he comes down with it every single time. A problem that some 49ers fans had with Kendrick Bourne. I know I had that issue with him. I know for a fact that was me. Maybe I was projecting some of my displeasure on some of you, but hey, it's fine. You may agree with me, you may not. Let me know about it right now. Next is a guy that we thought we possibly could get as an undrafted guy, but now he's kind of coming up boards a little bit. One, Drew Dalman.
Yeah, I think Drew Dalman went from being a sleeper to being somebody that's being valued way above what everyone thought. Center out of Stanford, he's got the lineage of his dad playing in the NFL as well.
That's true.
So he's somebody that automatically people are going to look at. Now you start getting the Stanford connection between Lynch and him, so it just makes sense. He's right down the road. I'm sure they've taken a very good look at this guy. And he's a developmental guy that would make sense for the 49ers if you're looking to back up Alex Mack. Now, my one question is, how much does Dalman really fit the system? Because, I don't know if he's going to move good enough. His numbers weren't testing the best. But you never know how he's going to look in the system as far as, if Kyle and them think that he can get it done, then he'll be able to get it done. That's my only question with him. Other than that, I think he's a smart, instinctive player that makes good plays. He's a pretty good pass blocker and a good run blocker. Just that Stanford system's a little bit different. You're playing more bully ball in that style of offense. Where in the 49ers offense, you don't really do that. You're getting to second level. You're passing off blocks. So everything changes. So whether he fits the system or not is a big question. I lean towards the maybe not. But that's why I was more willing to take him as an undrafted free agent. Where in this category, I'm like, I'm not so sure. I think there's other guys that maybe could fit the system that are going to be available. Who knows? But still, I like the player overall. And so if they did take him, I would not hate it.
It's a lot easier as a running back. Like Christian McCaffrey is a perfect example of this. It's a lot easier as a running back to be a zone runner and play in a downhill sort of system. As long as you can break your tendencies of wanting to stretch and just wanting to hit the hole hard, if you can do those things, you can transition between being a zone running back in a zone running scheme and a power downhill type running back in a power running game scheme, and being a power run blocker versus a zone scheme run blocker. They're different skill sets entirely. Leverage is way more important in zone schemes than it would be in a power game, although leverage is important, especially if you can get a guy and bully him a direction by getting your hips turned and getting around in space. It's way more important in lanes, being able to move laterally in space, especially in getting to your spot to set the edge or set the gap so you have a lane for your running back to run through, or a cutback angle for them to take. I mean, it's way more important in the zone running scheme. So yeah, all of those things, his ability to move or lack thereof, I guess some people make that argument, they're all questions. And it's why, as an undrafted guy, you're willing to take those chances because you're not having to spend any capital. And in round 5, round 6, round 7, that's capital. And that's capital you can't get back if you draft a guy that doesn't work out. Now, granted, it also happens in the first round all the time. It stings a lot worse in the first round, but Shanahan and Lynch have prided themselves on taking guys in those rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 that have panned out in some cases panned out greatly. Don't forget that. So they're not going to take a chance on a guy that they don't think can fit the scheme. He could. He has the intelligence, especially to play the center's position in the Kyle Shanahan offense. Does he check the rest of the boxes? Just going to have to wait and find out.
And this is kind of the time when the 49ers go off the reservation with picks, where you don't know what the heck they're doing, because look at Charlie Warner last year.
That's true.
Everyone was like, who? And why does he spell his last name like that? I think those were the big questions for everyone. And now you just don't know what the 49ers are going to do at this spot. And so these are likely names that we're coming across. But there could also be an unlikely name, because that's just how they roll.
It's true. It's very true, and this is why it makes it so hard at these spots. We only got 4 names and 4 guys that we want to talk about here because, in all honesty, don't know.
And I mean, there's a lot of other guys that could be.
Oh, absolutely.
But we don't like those guys for the 49ers.
No, and I would be shocked if some of those names got taken.
Yeah.
I mean, Puka Williams is sitting here on the board in most mock drafts right here at this spot. After the signing of Dalman, absolutely not. I don't think that happens at all. I don't think he's the type of running back they're looking for.
No, I think there's another guy coming down the bend, maybe on our next show, where we're talking about possibly another running back.
Maybe.
Possibly. But I just don't think in this spot you would.
No, I don't think so either. But 2 edge rushers that could go here, both Shaka Toney out of Penn State and Janarius Robinson, a guy that you're very familiar with from the Florida State Seminoles.
I am, and I like him a lot. He's a base 4-3 down, 4-3 guy that can play every down. He can set the edge, and he's got tremendous athletic ability that was not showcased at Florida State. I don't know how many people watch Florida State football, but I watch every game, and their defense can sometimes be a dumpster fire. They're not exactly put in the best positions to succeed. He's a guy that if he gets in the right system with the right coach, could flourish into just a big time player. I have high expectations and high hopes for him. We've seen him run down running backs from behind. We've seen him
and I'm not talking about like 5 yards running. I'm talking like 20, 30 yards downfield running down some running backs that are some of the fastest running backs in football, in college football.
Tremendous athlete, tremendous upside. 100% is somebody that I would be taking right here. If it was my pick, I'm 100% taking this guy.
Especially if he didn't go edge earlier.
Because he's one of those guys that can play base and he can play on the outside. It's just you don't have too many guys to do that. You either have a specialty guy that's like a pass rusher, or you have like Shaka Toney, for instance. He's undersized.
Correct.
Janarius is not undersized
at all. You're going to be, if you're using Shaka Toney, you're not expecting him to do maybe a whole lot in the pass rushing game. You want him to be able to hold his ground, get into gaps, and be a run stopper.
Well, and Shaka Toney is undersized. I mean, he really is. He needs to put on more size to be a base down 4-3 defensive end. He could be successful rushing off the edge in obvious pass downs or in nickel situations. Yeah. But I think that if you really, if they double him, he's done.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to get beat a lot in the run game. He's not going to be able to set the edge like some of the other guys. And so that scares me for Shaka Toney. But I think he does have a high motor, and he works really hard, and he plays hard. And so that's important.
And he had a lot of success at Penn State. I mean, he wasn't a scrub at Penn State, and by no means. But there's a big jump and a big difference.
Yeah, that guy on the other side,
Yeah, that kind of helps.
Chase him away.
Yeah, he maybe helps a little.
He's super fast.
He's pretty gosh darn fast.
Yeah, he's so fast he makes fast people look not fast.
That's not very nice to fast people. No, but I mean, the reality of the situation is a guy like Shaka Toney here. It makes sense because depth. I mean, literally just depth and, development. What he could potentially be and what he could become. They also could wait on him because there's a good chance that Shaka Toney could end up falling because of the size things like you just said. He doesn't hit the measurables. So he could fall even later than that. There's some places that have him going undrafted as well.
And there's some places that have him going in the 4th round.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a little much.
I think it just depends because some of the other fan bases are really high on Shaka Toney.
It's true.
And I think if you come from that neck of the woods, you're even higher on him just because you've heard of him more. Where, I just let the film talk. I know you do too. You let the film talk, and we just look at it
as much as I can.
And we're just like, I don't see it before the 6th round. I just don't.
No, it's really hard to see before the 6th round. But, hey, to each their own, right?
Yep.
There's a flavor of the month for everybody. I don't want to dock anybody for having a flavor of the month that's Shaka Toney. I just prefer Janaris Robinson.
Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan. Hey, man, the new Mortal Kombat just came out too.
Ooh.
I know they need to open up those movie theaters so I can go check that out.
HBO Max.
Darn you.
Yeah.
Darn you. I don't have HBO Max. Maybe you have HBO Max, but it's fine. You don't need it because you have us. You have the 49ers Cutback Podcast, where we talk about all sorts of things that you love, especially about your 49ers. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're at it. That way you get notified every time we post. Like the video and leave a comment down there right now. What do you think of the 4 guys that we just talked about here at Pick 172? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Did we forget anybody? Let us know. We want to know. We want to hear from you. We want to have a conversation because the draft is almost here. It's almost here.
Help us take our subscriber count to the max and also be here for the draft because it's going to be absolutely fun. First round, we're completely live. The second day, we're coming on early and we're live streaming. That's our normal live stream day, and it's going to be fun too because we're going to be getting into this. What are the 49ers going to do at 43 is going to be a big question. Have they already shocked the world and traded back up? Are they getting back into the second round? Did they trade back? So many questions.
All the questions.
So many comments that we're going to have to answer, and then we're going to have a conversation with everyone. It's going to be a ton of fun.
We got lots to talk about. We still got a lot to do. You still have a lot more content coming your way. Make sure you're here for all of it. Make sure you're commenting on all of it. Make sure you're liking all of it. Until next time, stay safe, 49ers fans.
Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.
Like always.